Alrighty. What's up? There we go. Okay, now Facebook is live too. There we go. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to wait a little bit for people to get on. We'll wait just a minute. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Harley. Alrighty. Alright, friends. I'm going to give you some updates about some stuff at the end of this video. But for now, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's happening today. Today is known as Maundy Thursday. And on Maundy Thursday, we often focus on the Last Supper. It's usually very emphasized that this was Jesus' last meal with his closest friends before he was betrayed and before he was ultimately crucified. But today also is a time when we get to hear about a different story that goes along with the Last Supper, and it's very important to what Maundy Thursday is. And I'm going to have some questions for you to really think about during this season. So I'm going to John 13, and this is 6 through 10. And I'm just going to give you some background real quick. So when Jesus washed Simon Peter's feet, one thing you have to understand is that your feet were all that got you from A to B. Your feet were it was the dirtiest, most unclean part of your body. It's still culturally, hi Abigail Naylor. In fact, still, it's a rude thing, especially in the Middle East, to show the bottom of your feet to people. It's very disrespectful because your feet were like the most unclean thing, because roads involved dirt. They sometimes involved manure, so you probably had manure on your feet wherever you were going. Your feet, cleaning somebody's feet was such an intimate and disgusting and like awful thing to do. So Jesus, who these disciples considered to be the Lord of Lords, the King of all kings, the Son of God, they see him as royalty. Royalty does not wash feet. And so I'm going to read you some of this scripture. This is John 13, 6 through 10. So Jesus came to Simon Peter. Lord, Peter said to him, "Are you going to wash my feet?" And Jesus replied, "You don't realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you will never wash my feet." And then Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you can't share life with me." "Lord," Simon Peter replied, "not just my feet, wash my hands and my head too." And Jesus said, "A person who has had a bath needs to wash only his feet. The rest of his body is clean. And you are clean, but not all of you are." This is the word of God for the people of God. I'm going to read one more scripture that's kind of a central focus scripture for us on this lesson. John 13, 14 through 15 says, "I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet. So you also should wash one another's feet. I have given you an example. You should do as I have done for you." So we talked about the significance of having your feet washed. And I know probably today, we do these foot washing ceremonies, certainly not at a time like this. But some of you probably, especially our youth, I know some of our young ladies would hate it if somebody touched their feet. And so we often also have a hand washing thing on Maundy Thursday so that, people really don't like their feet being touched. And what you have to understand, though, is the cultural significance of feet washing. It was a very intimate and personal and kind of a disgusting thing to do for somebody. But if you wash somebody's feet, that means you really care about them. And so much so that you humble yourself to the lowest of lows to wash their feet, the nastiest part of their body. And so, my question for us today is, how can we be Christ like in this way, especially during this time? How can we stay true to our Christian values and be Christ like in such a way, um, especially in a time like this? And so, the first question I want to ask, to put this in perspective, I don't think people ever think about this very often, but um, when I ask you, did Jesus want to wash feet? What I mean by that is not, did Jesus want to help, want to be intimate in this way with his closest friends. What I mean is, does anybody really want to wash somebody else's feet? It goes with a lot of other things that are difficult to do. Does anybody really want to wash somebody's feet? It's difficult, it's nasty, it's inconvenient, it's a hassle. Nobody wants to, and yet Jesus did. In fact, Jesus, from the scripture that we're reading, Jesus also did this knowing full well that he was going to be betrayed by one of his closest friends that night. And yet he loved anyways. He washed feet anyway. Jesus tells his disciples to go and do likewise, to wash other people's feet. And they knew full well that he did not necessarily mean, go wash everybody's feet. That's your job now. They knew that what that meant was, you need to be as humble as the Son of God is being right now in this moment, washing somebody's feet. You need to be able to be in that position in order to be Christ-like, in order to be a true follower of Christ. So, hi Hazel and Mabel. Especially when we are stuck at home, how can we humble ourselves and serve others? This is something that I want to challenge you guys to do. We're in a time of creativity, more creativity than I can possibly imagine. I want to challenge you guys to come up with ways. I'm going to name a few that I've thought of, but I would like this post, this live video, to kind of stir some conversation about what are some ways that, in the spirit of Holy Week, in the spirit of this time where we need to remember this, what are some ways we can humble ourselves and serve others in the unpleasantness of this time, in these challenging times where we have to be creative and think of different ways. And so, one thing I was thinking about, you can start, since we're all in our households a lot and around our families, you can start in your household. I know for a fact that some of y'all are cooped up together for a very long time, that you guys were not ever in a million years expecting to have to do together. I know that tensions are high. I've seen it from some of you. And I know that you're going to get on each other's nerves. We're in here for quite a little bit longer. And so one thing I would say that you could do to really humble yourself is remember that your family members are still human. And your parents could probably use some help. A lot of them are working from home, while at the same time you are going to school from home. And you might be crossing paths, getting in each other's way, and there's so much to do. But that dishwasher still needs loaded and unloaded, and laundry still needs to be done. There's probably all kinds of other things, like taking out the trash, things that your parents have not said you specifically have to do, that you could humble yourself and do it, even if it's difficult. Even if you really don't like touching food on plates. I usually do the dishes in my household, so I kind of actually love turning on the hot water and getting out the soap and just having at it. But that's not really Katie's thing. And one thing that really almost got me like emotionally the other day. She's like, she hardly ever does that portion of the dishes. And the other day I came home and I hadn't done dishes in a little bit because I've been so busy. And she had done all of the dishes. She'd done every single one of them. Um, Katie is setting an example of how to be humble and how to still serve others in this Christ-like way, even though you have to stay inside. Write letters. There are all kinds of people who are stuck inside, and maybe it's a digital letter, maybe it's not something you can mail because that's not necessarily safe right now either. But there's probably a way that you can send a letter to a nursing home and say it's for this resident. Can you please print this out and send it to them, or read it to them? Can you please read them this message that we've sent? Check on people who aren't able to get out. All of our folks who are at risk, who are staying inside for their own safety, and I hope that you guys are staying inside for their safety and for yours. They might enjoy a message, just a kind heart message out of nowhere. Find a way to contact people and just tell them that you're thinking about them. Because honestly, what's important now more than ever is that Holy Week is still happening. Holy Week is still happening and Easter is still happening, no matter what is happening in the world. It's going to continue, and God is always going to win. And so even during this time of isolation, and I would say even especially in this time of isolation, we are still disciples of Jesus Christ. And we still have to find ways to be disciples of Jesus Christ. So my challenge for you this week, today, starting today, and this weekend, as we reflect on Jesus going to the cross and what that means for us in his resurrection, find ways to continue to be faithful disciples of Jesus Christ. Find ways to humble yourself, and now more than ever, serve all of those who are in need. That's it for our devotional today, but I want to mention some things that are happening. Tonight at 7, I believe there will be a Facebook Live on our home church page of a socially distanced hand washing service for Maundy Thursday. And I would invite all of you to participate in that and keep this special day in mind. Don't let it go by the wayside just because stuff is weird right now and you're really busy and you just don't have the time or the mental capacity to really think about what Maundy Thursday means to you. Take a break from life and go to this online service and just watch and be a part of it and think about what that means for you right now in this world that we're living in right now. I'm sure that we will have an update on Saturday about what specifically is happening with Easter, but we'll let that be announced when it needs to be announced. We are still in ministry. We are still we're working harder than ever, honestly. And so, if you have a need, or if you have a way to help fulfill a need through any of the services that we're offering, please feel free to reach out and contact us and let us know. We are praying for each and every one of you. We're trying to contact as many of you as possible, stay in connection. And so I hope you all are happy and healthy and sane. And if you ever need to reach out to any of us, we are by our phones, we're by our computers a lot. And so we're always willing to connect with you. And we miss each and every one of you. I especially miss having youth. I miss all of our crazy kids. One thing we've done to alleviate that, we have started a Minecraft realm that I went ahead and I set up. So if right now we are working on building a replica of First United Methodist Church, Maumelle, I have instructed the youth to start with the Welcome Center. I don't know where they are in development. I've been on and off of Minecraft keeping up with that project. So if you have Xbox Live, or I guess like a Mojang name, I don't know how it works if you don't have Xbox Live, but if you do, send me your username. I will friend you. I will invite you to our youth group on Minecraft. We also are doing Zoom meetings Sunday nights at 5. We're keeping that going. This Sunday is Easter, and we will not be having a Zoom meeting. I've talked with several parents, and I think the consensus is Easter is still Easter, and Easter, even in these weird times where you're spending a lot of time with your family, Easter is still a day that parents really want to spend with their students, with their kids, and I'm going to honor that. But the following Sunday at 5 p.m., we are going to have youth worship as normal as we can. So I hope to see you guys there. I'll be emailing out a link. If you didn't get a link to our last one, please let me know, and I'll find a way to send it out to you. But again, I want to say we're praying for y'all. I hope y'all are praying for everybody else and us also. Pray for the world. This too shall end. One day we will be able to meet each other, and so I miss you guys. So God bless, and I hope to see you again next Thursday at 3 p.m. I'll be going live yet again, and so I'll see you then.